Hey, Gabriel Blake.
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
I think that I know the answer of this, but where are we today?
We gave up on trying to find any empty tables at any bar in San Francisco because they each have three on the sidewalk and they're all full of hipsters not social distancing. So we're at home.
Yeah, and we are better than those hipsters
We
because we were
are.
like just we were intending to record our podcast. That is not a hipster thing to do.
We're different because we're better.
That's true. We don't know why, but we are better. We are definitely better. All right.
We read
So,
the New York Times.
well, you do. You do. Did you still receive the? Did you still receive the printed version?
Just Friday, Saturday, Sunday now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Do you still
The
like just?
paper guy delivers it. We bring it up to our apartment, and then a few days later, we take it down to the recycling bin.
Do you read it in that
We
process,
don't.
or is okay?
Pablo pretends to, but no, he doesn't.
So basically, it has become actually a tool of pretentiousness.
Yeah, and every month I'm like, here, New York Times, you throw away this $40.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's interesting. So what did we watch this time?
We watched the John Travolta classic, Hairspray. Just kidding. It's a joke because one week I watched the wrong movie. We watched the 1988
Eight. Yeah,
John Waters version. I guess it's not a version, it's the
it's the
original
original.
Hairspray, which was not a musical and did not star John Travolta, but did have some delightful drag.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think that this was my pick, and the reason why I
I
pick it,
know that it was your pick.
why, is that I just started to see some kind of pattern on my movies after picking the guests, you. So I picked it because I don't dislike the musical version for 2007, but I like musicals, so it was a bit more target to me. But when talking with people that they have watched the John Waters version, they basically want to slap me. I had to just stop a couple of them from the perspective that is like is supposedly way better respected than the musical. The musical felt a bit more of a cast in for it about like, well, people remember Hairspray, so let's do a musical out of it. And I think
I'm so curious now to watch the John Travolta version. I didn't see it, and I would like to see how they updated.
I don't think that is too much outdated. You know, the thing is, this is basically it's not a musical. There is dance, there is a lot of dance, and there is a lot of music, and it tries to capture like the 60s feeling, the early 60s feeling, you know, the transition between the 60s and well, from the beginning of the 60s to the late 60s, that they were like a complete different decade at that point. Uh, and I think that it does a really good job. I don't know why turning into a musical, what does it add to it? Is that what is the reason for just trying to do it with something, with a movie like this one?
But I could be wrong because I don't know my musicals. But didn't they turn Hairspray into a Broadway musical, and then they turned the Broadway musical to a movie?
Yeah,
Okay, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So it's like this kind of transition. I don't know if is there any other? Oh well, the Little Shop of Horrors. The Little Shop of Horrors was a movie in the 70s, I think. Then they did a Broadway musical, and then they did the movie, the musical movie.
Yes. Again, I'm out of my depth here. I'm not super familiar with musicals, but I do know they turned Legally Blonde into one. So,
And Mean Girls.
and Mean Girls,
And is Clueless
and
also
apparently the
this?
Hamilton administration.
Apparently. Apparently. Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, Clueless is a 2018 jukebox musical based on the 1995 film of the same name. So yeah, it's a
No,
Broadway
see, that's
off
a musical
Broadway,
I would go see.
but it's off Broadway. Like
Oh, we saw Naked Boys singing off Broadway, and
exactly.
it was worth every penny.
It was not worth every of my pennies. I'm really sorry, man.
That was one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
I think that my highlight was like just being, well, I don't know if I can say this on podcast, but like being completely wasted in the bar. Like just saying, like, I'm going to go for a drink, and just being like completely wasted and trying to hit in the on the bartender, but just
And you never
slurring
came
my
back.
speech. No, I actually came back, and then I hit in the on the how do you say, like the guy, the accommodator, where like just coming out.
The usher.
Yeah, the usher. Huh. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was a name. Huh. That's cool. You just educate me so much. Naked Boy Singers, ushers. Yeah. So, what did you think of the movie? What is this movie about?
This movie, oh my gosh, I can't even think of, was it Tracy? Tracy was her name?
Yeah, I think so. Tracy Turnblad.
Tracy Turnblad. This is basically about the rise of Tracy Turnblad, who is the pleasantly plump girl who's pro-segregation. As you mentioned, it's like
No,
early 1960s.
It's pro-integration, no?
That's what I meant to say, but still artois. Wanted me to say something else. So
Sure, yeah.
she's pro-integration, and she's obsessed. Oh, so they live in Baltimore, which, I mean, I saw the same Baltimore I saw in The Wire, so props for realism. She's obsessed with a local TV show where white people get together and dance, but more in a 50s style, I think.
Yeah, it was a transition time.
Yeah, it was a transition time. And she doesn't, her mom isn't supportive, but is loving, but they think her interest in the show is a waste of time, but she sneaks out with her best friend, and they audition, and they get to be on the show. And then there's a big contest to see who gets to be Miss Auto Show 1963. And then there's a lot of other things, and civil rights movements, and it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And completely ridiculous.
Okay.
Ask me, Jose.
What do you think of it?
So there were moments where I was definitely like, okay, let's wrap this up. I get it. It's campy. It's absurd.
Yep.
Like, this could have been done in an hour.
It's an hour and a half.
To be honest, I know, but it could have been done in an hour. No, I'm not complaining about the length. I didn't connect with the film at all. I had no idea what it was trying to say.
Oh.
I don't know. I love Ricky Lake, I guess.
You knew her, no?
I did. When growing up, she had a talk show, like a morning talk show. Yeah, I seriously don't know what to say about this film. It didn't resonate with me. I didn't really laugh that much. I liked Divine, a famous drag queen who played her mother. I thought that was a nice touch. And then was Seaweed's mother also a drag queen?
No,
I didn't look that up.
I don't
okay,
know.
That was a woman. Sorry, Seaweed's mom.
I mean, let me just check, but I have the feeling that she wasn't.
That's just a sign that drag is getting way too realistic.
Yeah, Ruth Brown was not a drag queen, for sure.
Sorry, Ruth. I meant it as a compliment.
And she was the queen of R&B. And in Blake's Wall, he was a drag queen.
Yeah, I don't know. So, because I just didn't understand this film at all, I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was funny. I didn't know what to make of it. So I actually just went and researched John Waters and his life a little bit, and a very long interview he gave to Variety, I believe, last year, where he talks about how he used crass humor to make movies to kind of shock people, and he found that hilarious, but it's all been done now, so people can't connect with camp anymore. It doesn't have the same
impact,
shock value it used to have. And he also talks about how camp used to be the secret language of gay people, and that gay people understood the nuances of it, and it was a way to connect with other gay people. But now straight people have co-opted the camp culture. And if you think last year's Met Gala, the theme was camp, and John Waters wasn't even invited when he's literally the king of
the
camp.
father of, yeah.
You can see that what's happened has been turned into mainstream and changed into something that's not as interesting. So, sorry, I'm going on a monologue. I would like to hear what you have to say, because I suspected you were going to like the film, but I didn't really know for sure.
So I want to ask you, after like just knowing a bit more about his background and about like being the spearheading of a camp, does your perspective on the movie change at all?
So yes, it made me think of it as one of those films that doesn't impress me today, but I appreciate it for the importance it played in the history of cinema.
Yeah, but it's not timeless.
I don't know that it's not timeless. I know that I didn't connect with the film. We also know that I have a hard time with movies about happy people, and
that's fair. But is it the funny
dancing?
thing?
Why must they dance?
Come on, you like Suspiria, and they fucking dance.
They
the
were
whole time.
witches.
And climax.
Come on! You wanna? We watched like a baby die in climax. It's not like this is the same thing.
It was not a baby. It was a 6-year-old. Come on. There is a difference.
Locked in an electrical closet. Okay.
Sure.
Anyway.
Sure. Yeah, but parenting, whatever. But I had to say that I like it significantly more than I expected. You know, it's like you know what I was thinking about? I won't say this yet. I want to actually just express a bit like why I like it, and then I was thinking about like a contrast with another mother piece with a similar message to this one that I don't know if you connected to it or not. But I like it, and I don't usually like comedies, but I laughed a couple of times on this. A, maybe it was high, maybe. B is like there were some points that I think that it was honest. You know, it felt like very heartwarming. You know, the kind of a story that they presented, but it felt like not heartwarming in the kind of a formulaic way. It was a bit more like, okay, as you actually went with non-conventional cast, is you have like the plump girl, that you pretty well describe her, and you have like the drag queen mother, that he also plays the one of the heads of the network
The
TV.
super racist TV show network guy.
Yeah. So it's like, and besides that, there was another factor, is that the only other movie that I watched I watched 2 other movies from Your Waters, Serial Mom, that I don't remember at all, and I also watched Pink Flamingos. And Pink Flamingos is, if this looks like Crash, the other one is like 10 times this. Pink Flamingos is like just shock value. Is the only thing that is achieving. There is a story, but it's like the kind of value that you're going to be like getting of it is like just how shocked you are by it.
Yes, I've never seen Pink Flamingo, but I'm well aware of its status in the film world.
Yeah, and it's true that it's like 16 years after this. You know, it's like it's Pink Flamingo is 72 and this is 88. So of course he has evolved, and he actually has like just polish his style. And I think that there is a point. I think there is when they are in the amusement park, is that when he embraced the absurd about, okay, let's just go crazy, let's just go campy. It's like I just don't care, you know. And then you go with the crazy hairdo with the bomb inside. You know, that nothing of this make any. I mean, it's not that it doesn't make any sense. It's like he just forgets about like just trying to be narratively correct.
The New York Times said it very nicely that he's not exactly a storyteller, but he is good at something. There were moments where I laughed a lot, like when they were trying to break up. What was Tracy's best friend name?
Penny?
Something.
Yeah, it was be something.
They were trying to break up Penny and her black lover, which, by the way, when she's like, go to second base, that would not happen in a PG film. He just fingers her on the screen, and everyone's like, oh, this is family fun. So when they're trying to break her up, with him by bringing a psychologist, and it's just John Waters holding a stun gun and like poking her. And it's like Negroes, black boys. Like that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I think that the first time that I laughed in the movie it was when what was the name of the girl? Belma, like the cute girl that she once said that she's an asshole.
Yeah.
So she actually is grounded and she's staying at home while Tracy is dancing with Link on TV.
And Link is so dreamy. Oh my God. He was so hot.
I have to say that it reminds me of the main actor of West Side Story. I don't remember his name. But but what I was laughing about is like how she actually just looks like really serious. And he's like, she's violating the oath of the friendship ring. And she just takes the ring and just throw it away. It took me like a second to actually just like, what? Holy, okay, it's the 60s. Maybe that's something that would have happened. The friendship ring. We are not married, but we have a friendship ring.
Do you remember the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah.
They call them the promise ring. Like it's a thing among like super conservatives. It's not a wedding ring, but it's a promise. I promise I'm going to marry you. So this is not even a promise ring. It's a friend ring. So I see how he takes all of these like cultural references and takes them 5 steps further than anyone else.
But I think that they're funny. I mean, he actually knows how to be funny.
Some of them are, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we discussed like multiple times that I'm not big into comedies. I don't know why, because I like to laugh and everything, but I don't know why I don't usually connect with comedies. And with this one, I laugh like multiple times. It's true that towards the end, it's not that okay, this is too long, but I felt like, okay, the point has already been made, and there is still like 20 more minutes, and now this is becoming extremely campy.
Yeah, at the last, I remember checking the time, and I was like, "There's 15 more minutes. I don't know what else there is to do here."
Yeah, so I think that maybe the pacing could have been better, and just try to spread the story in a bit more of a cohesive kind of way. So there was this other
I did
joke.
love the scene.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so I also found funny and another like pretty stupid that the name of the girl of the friend is I just told it to you Penny Pingleton or something like that. Penny Pingleton is like 2 P's, and it's like I love when the mother like shows up the first time. It's like Penny Pingleton, you are positively permanently punished.
The alliteration, I mean, he's a clever writer. He for like short quips and dialogue.
Yeah.
I admit that.
Yeah.
I love the scene where she's making out with Link in a very bad part of Baltimore in an alley, and she's like, "Oh, Link, this is so romantic," and it shows that a rat is on her foot, and she like kicks it away, but it doesn't interrupt the scene. It's just so romantic.
Did you like the scene where the mother of Penny goes searching for her into the black neighborhood?
No, it's painful for me to, like, I'm not joking, like it to see racism like that on screen, even though John Waters was making fun of him. It's painful to see that, there were people like that, and it's awful. And now this is on the screen for black people to see, and it's just not nice.
Well, I think that they were like this, and I agree that it's a bit more of a tricky kind of joke by nowadays standards, but she's not. I don't think that they're like diminishing or making fun of the black people. They're like making fun of the white person that he goes there. Is like, oh my God, everyone's going to be like just raping me and murdering me.
And I appreciate that, and I get it. And I was constantly reminding myself that this film came out in 1988. So what message? And I probably shouldn't be looking for a deeper message in a John Waters film. But I was like, what is he trying to say about the civil rights movement? Because it was so pervasive. There were so many conversations about it, even though they were funny. I didn't know.
I mean, I think that it was a bit more of trying to be a heartwarming story, and that takes me to the point that I was saying earlier, that this movie made me think of Hollywood by Ryan Murphy, and it made me feel even more infuriated on Hollywood. That is a
That was such a piece of
racist
shit
is
series.
gone. But the problem with Hollywood is that, look, if you actually want to do this story and at the end, like just acknowledging that this was racist, is fine, because even by nowadays standards, these people wouldn't have won this. They wouldn't have
Oh
won an
yeah.
Oscar. Is that today we still have this reality. Is that so? If today we have this reality, being this anachronic is not going to be like changing anything. This is a bit more realistic from the perspective they try to portray the racial tension on Baltimore on '62 when actually the Supreme Court, when did they actually pass the segregation rule, like just abolishing segregation?
I am embarrassed to say I don't know that fact.
But it's something, I don't know if it was 64, yeah, the civil rights of 64, and they could vote on 65. So from that perspective, it's like it's almost 2 years before that, but it's at least like just trying to present that there was started to be like a social change. Usually what they say is like unless there is not a social change, there is not going to be a politic change too. So it
Yeah.
almost feel like, okay, there is like an early stage, sorry, an early story of integration. From that perspective, I thought that, okay, chronologically, after watching Hollywood, this is a masterpiece. This is
I would
more
definitely
aware.
rewatch this film.
Yeah, I think that it is from the perspective of what it's trying to say or what it's trying to portray is more honest. It's not about like, I'm going to be disregarding everything that happened there and I'm going to be like just painting my reality. So no, they actually talk about like there's like plenty of racists and it's not going to be just clean up from one day to another just because some teenagers dance on the screen. But at least
Yeah,
it's like a
and
step.
two things that I genuinely enjoyed, besides some of the humor, was just Tracy just being a normal, happy person
Oh
and
yeah.
not being like the fat girl. She was just happy and kind and had good friends, and then at the end, it was so satisfying when all of Tracy and her fans, including black fans, came in dancing the roach. I was like, okay, this is a good scene. I like
Yeah,
this.
it's pretty cute. Yeah, but it's like then how did you feel about her sponsorship being for a fat woman or dress store?
I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just like, as she says when she's interviewing to be part of the TV show, they said, but you're too fat. Well, the mean girl did, and everyone else was like, you can't say that. You're an asshole.
Yeah,
And she says something like, I look like a lot of your viewers, and they're going to relate to me. So
yeah,
her being the representative of the plus size clothing store, I thought it was great. Like, yeah, she's a super cool woman. People want to be like her, and she's representing a place that sells clothes in her size. I thought that was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I had to say that I think that part of what I like this movie is because of her performance, that it felt honest again. It's like once again, it's like I feel like really surprised, but I felt like this was a honest movie. For someone that is supposed to be famous for being crass and being over the top and being shock value, I felt like there is heart on this movie. And I think
Do you feel like it's similar to like all of David Lynch's films? And then that one PG movie he did about the man riding the lawnmower across the country.
no, because I also was serial
Come
mom.
on, in
Come
the
on.
in the Pink Flamingo, they eat shit on camera.
Sure, but I also watched Serial Mom, and Serial Mom is not like shock value, but it's also like a movie from 2000 or something like that. So
No,
it's
I
like
saw that as a kid, and I remember watching Kathleen Turner spread her legs so wide that the man on the stand in her murder trial got so horny that he just lied and left the stand. Come on, this is not even close to the same film or the same style.
okay. I think that is like a pretty good a pretty good family-friendly movie. The only
Well,
thing that is weird,
I don't know that I would want to show this to children, but I
why
see what
not?
you say.
I mean, the only weird thing for children would be that they say, why is the mother a man? That's
Well,
the only
yeah,
weird
but they
thing.
also there's a lot of denigrating speech towards black people, and they never say the N word, but it's still there. And
Oh, they
also,
do.
I'm sorry, but that's at that scene where she asked him to finger her. That is not family friendly. I would not show that to my 10-year-old
Wait,
niece.
sure, but it's like when they say is that let's go to second base.
Second base.
It's like at that point I thought that it was going to be like just touching her teeth.
That's what I thought second base was, and you and I are so gay
Yeah, we are
that
so
we
gay
never
that it's like
look at the
no.
bases.
Well, we don't need it. It's like our base is like just a single one. Let's just go and have sex.
Every time is a home run. Every time.
Yeah, nothing else. So I don't know. It's true that the sexual perspective it may be a bit bad, but at the same time, like everything that they present that is racist, they always present it in a negative way. Is that there is like a very clear, almost Disney-like way of saying like that's bad. Being racist is bad. Is that they actually present the main character in a very lovable way. So you are going to be agreeing with whatever she says. And from the beginning, she's like, I'm
No, you're
pro-integration.
right.
So it's like every single time that everyone is like, when the terrible blonde girl is saying something racist, it's always like just with a face. So it's like, just hate me. I don't think that there is like a moral ambiguity on this movie at all.
That's true. I agree. I mean, the racists are clearly in the wrong. Their
Yeah.
businesses fail. Their heads blow up. Or I guess their hair.
The wig.
Also, did you know that was Sonny Bono
Sunny Bono. Who's that?
from Sonny and Cher, the huge hit?
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I
Oh,
even
shit, yeah.
recognized him, and I didn't realize it was him until the credits rolled. I was like, he played a bad racist? How weird.
But it's what you were saying the other day about there were like many actors that they really wanted to work with John
Yeah.
Waters, or they look up to what John Waters was doing then.
Well, if you see the cast, I mean, there's so many people just in this film. Um, it was interesting. I'm not going to deliver the point as well as John Waters did, but in this Variety interview I read, they asked, because he used to poke fun at liberals being a liberal, and they were just saying, do you think that society has moved forward considering our president and everything? And
Who
he
was the
made a
president
comment
then?
that no, the Variety interview was like a year ago.
Oh, good job.
So he was saying, schools are not allowed to cast their plays by weight or race or anything. So he has literally seen his own movie done where Tracy, the story's the same, the story doesn't change, but Tracy is a skinny black girl. And he says, to me, that makes no sense with the story, but the fact that the kids don't notice at all, and for them it's still amazing, that's what progress is. And I was like, oh, I like you, John Waters.
All right. No, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really like, even when I watched the musical a long time ago. And I like the perspective, as you said, I think that you actually just put it like perfectly from the perspective of the main girl being a plum girl, and it's not about her being big. It's about like something else. It's not like the leitmotif. It's just that it's like, look, we just want to present a story where the weight that you have is not that important. That is more important
Yeah,
about like
she's
the
just a
racial
girl who's good at
discrimination.
dancing,
Yep,
and people
exactly.
like her because
Yep.
she's a cool person. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah, she's nice. So that's I love. I mean, I really like the musical. Because her because of the girl that actually just plays that I let me just check who it
Who plays
was.
Tracy in the new one?
Nikki Blonsky is her name. And she did in 2010, 3 years later, a movie called Huge. In 2008, she did another movie that it was Queen Size.
See, I hate that.
Is that
He
she
was light years
basically,
ahead of his time.
yeah, yeah, but it's like Tracy, what is her name? Well, Ricky Lake. Let me just check pictures of her. Was she still big when she was in the talk show?
She, as I recall, was a huge I don't know if this term is offensive. I heard it on a TV show once. A yo-yoer with her
Oh,
weight.
gotcha.
She
Yeah.
would lose a ton, gain a ton, but she was very, very public about her weight loss and gain journey. So it's kind of one of those things that she was known for. I don't know what
Yeah.
she looks like now.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I see like some pictures here that I see is, yep, extremely skinny. And I see other ones that I see is even bigger than in the movie.
As I recall, I was so young in the 90s, Jose, so
Like
young.
what, 5?
But as
For
I
the whole
recall,
decade?
she was kind of a hero for being very public about her weight struggles. So,
Yeah, but
but
it's like
again,
then,
I was like 8.
yeah, and she was lucky for actually having that career of having her own TV show, you know? But it's like that actually puts in perspective, and also just collaborated with John Waters in many other movies, you know, in Serial Man, Cry Baby, and Cecil B. Demented.
I was surprised to see that he only directed 6 films.
John Waters?
Yeah, I thought he was way more prolific than that, but as a director, at least on IMDb, his credits are, I think, just, oh, no, 18. Oh, 18, but a lot of these are shorts, a lot of these are TV.
Huh. Let me just check. I'm opening it. Open director. Uh, Eat Your Makeup, Mundo Trazo, Multiple Mania, Spin Flamingo, Female Trouble, Desperate Living, Polyester. Polyester was the one that he tried to introduce the smell thing,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. The odor something,
Yeah,
odorama.
Odorama, yeah. Hairspray, Crybaby, Serial Man. Yeah, so he actually took 7 years between Polyester and Hairspray.
Apparently, when is the last time he directed? 2004. He's been pretty vocal that he's just unable to raise funding. And now
Huh.
that quote unquote camp is mainstream, he doesn't really have any interest in making any more movies unless he figures out another way to
To suck.
connect with his audience.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You say to suck?
to suck, not to
Oh, okay.
sack,
I was like,
to
I
suck.
thought you liked that movie.
No, no, no. I mean, I'm talking about like shocking, you know, but it's like there is no shock value on this movie. What is the shock? I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
maybe in the 80s there was some kind of shock, but it's like I felt, as I told you, it's like it's true that the second base part was maybe a bit out of place, but like, everything else it was as white as any other Disney movie that I've seen. But there was like another layer of okay, there is a bit of irony here.
Yeah, I can't see what people were able to see in 1988. So, I mean, I've seen Irreversible by Gaspar Noé, so you're not gonna.
Was in '88 Irreversible?
No, what I'm saying is that me at my age in 2020, I can't be
Absolutely.
shocked because I've seen Gaspar Noé films.
Yeah, but I think that his way of shocking is different from Gaspar Noé's way of shocking.
He is. Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah, it's like he's gonna going to be like letting a 7-year-old kid die in a room, like in climax. I think that's like out of his scope of things. He's going to be a bit more of just making fun of the American reality in a very over the top way.
Yes.
And he's good at that. I love that. I think that is like now that I watched this other movie, would you watch another John Waters movie?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm interested in his style. This what is his most family friendly version, and I definitely like more adult content in my movies. So, but I know it sounds stupid, but when I see a movie is rated PG, I immediately think censorship, and I just want to see the raw story. So
Hmm.
I would like to see John Waters when he's not constrained. If he was, maybe he wasn't constrained, and this is exactly the movie he wanted to make. But I want to see him at his nastiest, I guess.
We can watch Pink Flamingos. It has been a really long time since I watched it, but that's shock. That's just pure shock.
Yeah, I mean, we can pick anything from his list. I mean, not this week, but
Yeah, very soon. No, that's cool. So, what would you score it?
I'd give it maybe a 6.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. My score is a 6.5. I
Oh,
think that,
so would you watch it again?
yeah. I
Would you
watch it
recommend
again.
it to people?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I would recommend it to people.
I would not watch it again, but I think I would probably recommend people when I wanted to feel pretentious that they say they love the John Travolta version. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I really would recommend it to people.
I mean, everybody is like, I laugh. And it's like, for me, a comedy that makes me laugh like a couple of times is a huge success. And it's like, this one is like, if I think about the last comedy that we watched is The Guest.
Don't bring up my past.
The Guest is the
That
last
was
comedy.
that was not a comedy.
I
Well,
laugh. I laugh
okay.
at it. I laugh a lot. But no, the last one is actually Clueless, the last one that we watched. And there were a couple of scenes that I chuckled, and I can tell you I laugh as many times with Hairspray or more.
It's like Schitt's Creek for me. I consider that if I have an out loud laugh
Yeah.
every 2 episodes, I'll keep watching it.
Yeah. So what are we watching this? Because your pick?
We are going to watch. You're gonna laugh at the reason I picked this movie. But is it called Velvet Buzzsaw? Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
Velvet Buzzsaw.
Gotcha. Why do I have? Yeah, I had another movie from you here. I had the Five Obstructions.
Let's save that for sure.
Yeah, I said it. Why do you want to watch this? I mean, I had it for the longest time because it's the director from Nightcrawler, no?
Well, this is supposed to be the opening for next week, but I'll tell you,
Okay,
I
just tell me.
decided today, after watching Hairspray, that I really wanted to watch a movie with Alexander Skarsgård. And I was like, I'm going to find a movie to watch with Alexander Skarsgård. So I started to go through his IMDb page, and he hasn't made anything I'm interested in like the last 10 years. And so then at some point, and then I decided, well, if I can't watch Alexander, let's watch something with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. And
The consolation prize. Just killing
I'm
us.
sorry, I'm not an intellectual all the time. And then I remembered this trailer coming out, and I wanted to watch it, and then I just forgot about it. The writer is the guy who wrote The Fall.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The stuff he's directed, I saw Nightcrawler. I wasn't that into it, but it's kind of edgy and weird. And I watched the trailer, and I was reminded of The Square and all of the satire on the art world. And I was like, I'm going to do
Yep.
this to Jose again.
Look, I had it for the longest time on my list because it's like when I saw it, okay, I like Jack Gyllenhaal. I think that is like besides some people finding him hot, I think that he's a talented actor. And that was
He's a very
before
talented
watching,
actor.
and that was before watching Enemy, because in Enemy is like he just nails it. But I actually found this movie, and I just watched pretty recently Nightcrawler, and I was mind blown from an aesthetic perspective. And I just left it on my queue,
Exactly.
and I forgot about it.
So I'm hoping this is like a super, super dark satire of the art world, but as imaginative, as visually cool as
As
The Fall.
Nightcrawler, yeah. Oh, as the fall. Wait a second. So Dan Gilroy, that is the director and the screenplay writer, he was also both things in Nightcrawler, and he also
Yeah.
wrote the script for the fall. No way.
Yeah. Well, we should check our facts.
Uh,
So I didn't say Dan Gilroy wrote The Fall. I said the guy who wrote Velvet Buzzsaw wrote The Fall.
yeah, that's true. And it's Dan Gilroy. You're right.
Dan Gilroy wrote The Fall.
He brought along two more people. That it was like Tarzan
Right.
Singh and someone else. Nico Sultanakis.
There were just enough interesting filmmakers involved, including Jake Gyllenhaal and this writer, which you and I both share a deep love for The Fall. And I thought, yeah, this is what we're gonna watch.
Would you be willing to watch The Fall for this? and just talk about why we like it.
100%. 100%. It would be a
Okay.
two-part.
I had a feeling that we would love it for different reasons.
Yeah, I think no, I have watched it since I've been with my husband, so I've seen it in the last 7 years.
Yeah, I watched it in the last 7 years too. I watched it with my ex, and it was as good as I remember it. He didn't get it, but it's like, there is something about that movie that is like, I love it. There, I just love it too much. But
It's
yeah,
just
in any case,
magic. It's magic, and people either get it or they don't. But this
yep,
podcast is not about the fall.
yep,
Look
no,
for
it
an upcoming episode if you want to hear about the fall.
is.
Maybe
So,
we can just do a series of all Tarzan's movies.
so the two of them.
We can watch Immortals like 5 times. I mean,
I don't know if I wanted that, but I
Henry
appreciate it.
Cavill is worth it.
That's true. That's true. Okay, man, that was great. That was a good conversation about her. So to whoever is out there listening to us, thank you so much.
Thank you. Wash your hands.
Bye.